So one day I was just playing Mario Kart Wii as I do in my spare time because I don't go outside, and I thought to myself, imagine how cool it would be to actually visit these locations in real life. And that's what we're doing today. Well, not actually visiting them in real life, unfortunately, but ranking every track in Mario Kart Wii based off if I'd go there on holiday. We'll be looking for 4 things today: a place to stay, decent weather, a variety of activities, and the amount of safety. And without further ado, let's start with Luigi Circuit. As you can see, we have our tiers here: the most go-to location, when's the next flight, slightly overhyped, 1 visit is enough, and 2 boring / 2 deadly, which are pretty self-explanatory in themselves. So as we know, Luigi Circuit is simply just a racetrack, so there wouldn't be much of a reason why you'd want to come here on holiday necessarily. Also, I'm using my boy Monty Mole today, if you couldn't already tell. However, due to the limitations of this game and what we can see, I am going to be primarily using a website called NoClip. This website is essentially a tool that allows you to view a 3D model of the track and see things that you wouldn't be able to easily see within the game itself. So first of all, as for a place to stay, these buildings here look like they could possibly have rooms in them, maybe a bed, probably a toilet. I would really hope a toilet. And maybe if the crew are kind enough, we're allowed to stay in these if we so decide to come here on vacation. And as for the weather, it's looking like a pretty sunny day here with almost clear skies. However, regarding how many activities there are to do, yeah, there aren't too many. The obvious ones are watching races and maybe taking part in the races. Got nice views from the track here. Hey guys, hope you're having a good time. Oh wait, it's me. And aside from exploring the surrounding area, there is one more activity that I was able to find. Taking a ride in the hot air balloon. Imagine how cool that would be. Wow, flying through the skies, maybe watching the races as you do so. Overall, not the most interesting location, but definitely one I wouldn't mind checking out. I'm gonna put it in 1 visit is enough. Moving on now to Moo Moo Meadows. This one's already looking much better than the first track. Just a nice little farm in the middle of the countryside. Just a pretty chill place to be, really. Oh hey, it's me again. Am I gonna be in every single one of these tracks? Coming back over to the website, these barns look like a pretty nice place to stay, and it's also one of the only places to stay. I guess maybe that windmill over there. Probably not the windmill. And just like Luigi Circuit, it's looking pretty bright and sunny, quite a few clouds, and I would presume it's also quite windy, only due to the fact that the windmill is windmilling.
I'm Batman.
Now moving on to activities, obviously there are quite a few paths and mountains we could climb. There's lots of milk and beef. I'm sorry, Mr. Moo Cow. I presume we also get lots of wheat from the windmill, so plenty of food to go around over here. We could also just watch the cows in general, even spend some time over here too, admiring the scenery, and maybe even playing in the river. Just try not to get hit by my fellow Monty Moles. So already, I think this track is worthy of when's the next flight, because I just really like the countryside atmosphere and it looks like a pretty chill place to go. And onto Mushroom Gorge now, which can only really be described as a valley of mushrooms with a cave.
Well, duh.
We are only 3 tracks in and it already looks like there isn't a place to stay. For some of these I'm just going to go on a limb and I'm just going to say this thing here is a building. I don't know, there's nowhere to stay. The weather looks very misty and cloudy, doesn't look too warm. However, the scenery is what's keeping this track high on the list. Just the way this track looks is so beautiful. You could take some fun walks through the caves, bounce on the mushrooms, you know. You could even go looking for crystals, they could be worth a lot of money. That would be something good to take home. And aside from that, it doesn't look like there's too much else going on here. And so I'm going to put this track in slightly overhyped because I'd want to go there maybe once or twice, but there isn't too much going on for it, so it's not getting any higher than that. Moving on to my favourite track in the entire game, Toad's Factory. What on earth is going on here? Find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. What's cool about this track is it's simply just a factory where the item boxes are made that we use when we're playing with other people. However, the only issue regarding this track is it's not really somewhere you'd want to go on a vacation, let's say. Maybe there's a room somewhere in all of this that you could stay in. I couldn't personally find any place to stay, but I'm sure Toad has an office somewhere with a bed. I'm noticing a common theme with the weather here. Once again, it's just blue sky with a bunch of clouds. Now, as for activities, I guess you could watch the item boxes get crafted within the factory, although I don't know how long it would take before that got boring. I must say the factory is in a very nice location. It looks like there is a lot of walking around here you could do, and then aside from just exploring the factory and the surrounding area, maybe you could take a ride in the cranes or the bulldozers. That might be a fun experience to do if Toad allows you to. As much as I love this track, there isn't really a reason why you'd come here on vacation, and so for that reason it's going in 1 visit is enough, but I'd rather go there than Luigi Luigi Circuit. Next up on our list we have Mario Circuit. I will say, you're probably going to notice that a lot of the tracks in this game that people don't really like, they aren't really that cool or interesting, are probably going to be quite high on this list because a lot of the boring tracks do have a pretty nice area. And quite obviously we can stay in one of these houses. As is tradition, we have cloudy blue skies with a sun, but we also have a rainbow in the distance. Wow, it's a rainbow, oh my goodness. And there are also quite a few activities here to do as well. Like you could meet new people. Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing? You could explore Peach's castle, maybe have tea with her, and then she'll take you along the bridge with no door to an island with nothing on it. Sounds pretty fun. Or even take the bridge from an empty island with no way to get there to another island with no way to get there. Wow. Now of course you could go on walks in the lakes and the fields. Chain jump. Are you okay, buddy? Do you need any help? I guess you could try and help the chain jump get unstuck from the ground. And finally, just like Luigi Circuit, we have a hot air balloon here, which gives you a really nice view of the Mushroom Kingdom. I think this is very deserving of When's the Next Flight, but definitely more than Moo Moo Meadows. And now moving on to one of the better tracks on this list, Coconut Mall. There's just so much to do there. I think we can all agree that this is just a really cool location to visit. To be honest, in the base game, this is not one of my favorite tracks, but for this video, oh boy, this is a track I'd visit. There's just so much to do here, it's such a fun atmosphere. However, the one downside I found to this track is that there is nowhere to stay. The majority of it's just shops, but then I discovered this section over here, and I wondered, is this part of the mall? Is this a different place? I have no idea. Comment down below what you think this is. And as is tradition so far, we've got the sun, we've got some clouds, no real variety in weather just yet. And now, as for the activities, obviously the main one that stands out to all of us is the abundance of shops. There are just so many shops that you could visit. Maybe cop yourself a new fit. I need to stop using Gen Z slime. Oh, that's so cringe. You could relax by the fountains over here. You could have a picnic on these benches. Just explore the area in general. Hang out with these guys over here. Woo. Have a dance with these guys. Woohoo, let's go. You could even chill on the beach or even go swimming. Although this is quite an eerie part of the track because it just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. But I think we are all in agreement that Coconut Mall is one of the most goated locations in this entire game. Also, by the way guys, I got this far into the video before realizing that I haven't been judging them off safety, and that was the fourth point. The only really dangerous one so far, maybe falling off the mushrooms in Mushroom Gorge or getting crushed by the crushers in Toad's Factory. There haven't really been many safety risks so far, but I'm going to remember to do that for the rest of the track. Sorry about that, thank you, bye. As I just mentioned, I've been forgetting to talk about the amount of safety on these tracks because I forgot to write it down on my notes, but hopefully I'll remember to talk about it for the rest of the video. So now moving on to DK Summit. This is essentially just a ski resort in the mountains, and this also is our first track with a different kind of weather. Although it's shown as blue skies here, don't be fooled, in the actual game it's fully white with snow everywhere. So as for a place to stay, it doesn't look like there are any cabins nearby. I'm just going to presume there might be somewhere. And moving on to activities, you can launch in DK's cannon. Wow, 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 wow. Going so fast. You could go up the ski lift. You could go skiing or snowboarding all the way down the mountain. And you could even climb the mountains in the distance or just explore the area surrounding the resort. Not a lot to say for this one, but I think this is better than Moo Moo Meadows, but not quite as good as Mario Circuit because I do like to go skiing in the snowy mountains, but there isn't an awful lot going on there. Now onto Wario's Gold Mine. A lot of these track descriptions are basically in the name because this track is basically just Wario's Gold Mine. But as we can see down below here, it is a gold mine with some sort of village within the gold mine. So quite obviously it makes sense to stay in one of these houses. It seems like many people live here with the amount of buildings down here. However, when talking about the weather, the clouds do look quite polluted here. I feel like the air around here wouldn't be very breathable. As for the activities, you could ride the minecarts, you could explore this giant village down below as we've already said, you could just climb the cliffs I guess and all this framework if you're willing to risk your life, and just explore the caves too. Maybe you'll find some gold. Once again, you could sell it for a profit. I mean, I wouldn't mind that myself, it's free money. However, it does look quite dangerous here, especially with all the unstable wood going on here.
You could just climb the cliffs I guess and all this framework if you're willing to risk your life.
Doesn't look like a very safe place to live, to be honest. I'm unsure whether to put this higher or lower than Toad's Factory. I'm gonna put it higher. I feel like it's a bit more interesting, it's a bit more risky, which can be a good thing sometimes. And now, Daisy Circuit, oh my goodness, this track is so amazing. Once again, like I said earlier, the boring tracks do tend to be the more interesting ones for this video. Just look at the surroundings here. Such a beautiful tropical atmosphere, beautifully coloured sky and water. It just looks like the perfect holiday destination. Within this Ocean Edge resort, it looks like this is a hotel type thing, which would be the perfect place to stay while you're here. here. Such a lovely view of the rest of the town. And as for the weather, we've got this gorgeous orange sunset over here. And now activities. You could ride in these yachts here, have some races with your friends. You could ride in Daisy's cruiser, I mean how cool is that? Referencing another track in another track, wow. You could go swimming in the P. You could explore the buildings in the town, you could meet all these people. Hates me again, oh my goodness. You could just chill out by the fountains, take some lovely walks in these hills over here. There's just so much to do. You could even just relax in the hotel if you want. And how could I forget, you could even visit the lighthouse and have this stunning view. And have this stunning view of the rest of the town. I didn't even think anything could outdo Coconut Mall, but I think we can all confidently agree that Daisy Circuit is more goated than Coconut Mall. Cooper Cape is quite a tricky one for me. It's just like a narrow island with waterfalls and a bunch of Koopa stuff. I'm not quite sure what a cape is because I suck at English.
It's just like a narrow island with waterfalls and...
Or maybe this is the cape here when you go into the pipe. Yeah, I have no idea. And following the theme of the other tracks, we've got the sun and some clouds over here. I presume because it's by the coast, maybe it's pretty windy as well. You could take a walk around the cliffs. You could play in the water. You could go swimming and scuba diving maybe. And if we actually go under the water here where the track is, you can see all this marine life. And you could admire all this coral here. And I guess just look at all the cool pipe stuff. I mean, like, what are all these pipes for? We'll never know. It does look moderately dangerous with stuff like this giant waterfall. But overall, if you're a pretty careful person, then I don't really see anything wrong with having a vacation here. However, because there isn't too many activities, it might get a little bit boring. So I'm just going to put it in slightly overhyped, probably a little bit better than Mushroom Gorge, but not much to do. If you're still here, I encourage you to like the video. It's been a while since I've made a YouTube video because of my exams and everything, but also just feel free to subscribe if you want to see more Mario Kart content. So next up we have this autumnal village located inside of a tree, it seems. This is a very big tree. This might be another go-to location, but let's just see what this has to offer. Okay, so maybe we could stay inside of one of these little hut type things. I'm not quite sure what they are, probably just homes that the Wigglers live in, I have no idea. We've got some pretty unique weather here, lots and lots of clouds, maybe it's windy as well. You could explore all these foresty areas. You could launch up in the cannon. I'm going to say a lot of similar things if tracks have similar things, like a cannon for example. You could just meet the neighbors, I guess, as we always say for most of these tracks. You could just chill at the top of the tree, you know, look down at the amazing view. You could bounce on this net, boing boing. It's not bouncy on the website, but just ignore the website, guys, it is bouncy. And then it goes without saying, just climb the tree, you know, this is a pretty cool tree. It's a giant tree, must have been there quite a few years. And in terms of safety, as long as you don't fall into this water, what's there to really be conscious about? I'm not gonna lie, I think with the way this track looks, I'm gonna put it below Daisy Circuit, but just above Coconut Mall. Because Coconut Mall is mainly just shops, it doesn't entice me as much, but this track just looks like such a lovely place to stay. Moving on to Grumble Volcano, another favorite of mine. Okay, so basically this is just a deadly, eroding volcano. I don't know why you'd want to come here on holiday, and I don't know if you even survive, but some people like different things, I guess. So once again, there isn't a place to stay as such, but I wonder if maybe these question mark blocks have like a secret entrance to them. I don't know. I'm just trying to help out these tracks as much as I can. Oh, actually, maybe you could stay in one of these turrets. Maybe that would be better. I mean, neither of those things would be better, but like, I'm trying, guys, okay. As for the weather, oh my goodness, this just screams evil. Super gloomy and smoky weather. There's just so many clouds. As much as I love this track, this is once again not really one I'd want to come on vacation to. I guess you could explore the volcano and the outside of it. You could try not to die from all the dangers that lurk, and you could just watch the world fall apart as time passes by and there's nobody else around you. It's just you alone on this island. I think this fits the category of too boring and too deadly. It's a pretty cool track aesthetic wise, but not one I'd want to go on holiday to. Okay, onto Dry Ruins now. This is basically just an ancient temple surrounded by pyramids, I guess. Doesn't look like there's too much going on for us here, but maybe it's more interesting than we think. So I guess you could stay in a pyramid somewhere, maybe the temple over there. I don't know what's going on with the skybox, but the weather once again just looks very typical with the clouds and the sun. Goes without saying, you could explore the desert, explore the pyramids, explore the Sphinx. You could swim in the oasis here, which is the only source of water in this desert. I guess maybe there's some from the cactus too. You could uncover the mysteries of the temple, maybe discover any secrets it may hide, like these bats. And I guess it can get a little dangerous with these pokies, especially when they're doing this. I wouldn't mind going there on a vacation. It's slightly overhyped, maybe just a little bit better than Mushroom Gorge, but not quite as good as Cooper Cape to me. Okay, so now we have Move You Highway. This one's going to be pretty interesting. So this one is just basically a city at nighttime with a giant lake and forest surrounding it. And it's also bustling with vehicles, so don't get hit by them. And as for a place to stay, you could stay in one of these apartments here. There is so many to choose from. Obviously, it's not going to be nighttime 24 hours a day, but because we're judging it off what it is, the weather is pretty starry with a full moon, so that's pretty cool. You could have a walk through the forest, climb the mountains over here, go sailing in the lake or something, just go for a nighttime drive. Personally, I really love to drive around at nighttime. You could just admire the view from anywhere here. You could see what's going down in the city over here. You could check out these advertisements. Oh, Peach. A lot of these advertisements look pretty interesting, to be honest. I mean, I'd see this art gallery, whatever it is. Seems like it just closed yesterday, unfortunately. There's always next year. And of course, just explore the skyscrapers. There are a few extra roads you could follow along here. But yeah, I think that's all there is to say about this track. For what we can see, I'm going to put it just above Moo Moo Meadows in When's the Next Flight, because obviously there isn't too much that we can see, but I'm sure there's a lot more going on that we don't know. I'd rather go skiing, to be honest, than go to a city at nighttime. Now moving on to, I want to say, a controversial track, because it depends if you put safety first or you're just there for a good time. So Bowser's Castle is basically just a giant threatening castle that Bowser created. Its only existence is for him to live in, I guess, and also for anybody who comes by to die. But as we are judging it as if you'd come here on vacation, I guess you could stay in one of these rooms in the castle. They all look pretty terrifying, but once again, it's personal preference, isn't it?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The swirling red clouds do not look appealing to me at all. The only activity I can really think of is to explore the castle and try not to die. This is just too deadly. I'm gonna say Gumbo Volcano is more deadly than Bowser's Castle though, because at least Bowser's Castle is a castle and Gumbo Volcano is just a volcano that's like falling apart. And now on to another deadly track for the opposite reason to the last one. This is basically what it says on the tin, a road made of rainbow. Quite obviously you cannot breathe in space, but we're just going to ignore that for now. So once again, there is basically nowhere to stay at all, unless you count the entire of the planet Earth. If we're talking about just the track, then obviously there's nowhere to stay. You'll always be looking at starry skies. That will always be the weather here. It'll always be cold. In terms of activities, you could try catching star bits, maybe they're worth something. Once again, there's a cannon, so you could shoot up the cannon. You could watch the meteors, and you could also have a fun time in the crazy tube. Whoa, it's a crazy tube. Yeah, not gonna lie, it's too deadly. Okay, on to the retros now, and we're starting off with an incredible retro track, Peach Beach. This is just another seaside town. I want to say it's on Isle Delfino, I'm just going to presume it is. Quite obviously, you can stay in one of these buildings here, but you could even stay in the cruise ship over here. Beautiful blue skies and fluffy clouds. Some of them even have smiley faces. Hello, Mr. Cloud. You could explore the town over here, see if there's any shops as well, meet the residents, take a nice walk along the beach here. This feels like a nice spot for a picnic on these hills. Take a ride in the ship, and I've also just noticed that Daisy Cruiser is here once again, referencing a track in the track. Amazing, right? You could just do what you'd usually do on a beach, you know, play some games, get a tan, whatever it is you people do on the beach. You could play with the cataquacks over here, as long as they don't eat your face off, which makes it a little bit dangerous. And you could also climb this pink coral statue with a lovely view from the top. Being one of my least favorite tracks in the base game, I'm not surprised that it's going this high up the list. I'm gonna say Daisy Circuit is a little bit better, but this is just the perfect vacation spot. Onto Yoshi Falls now. Some pretty interesting tracks to think about here, because this one obviously doesn't look like it has much, and it doesn't have much. That's why it doesn't look like it has much. But the thing is, the scenery is just so cool. Also, egg. I don't know where you would stay on this track, but maybe there's a hotel in the egg or something. Typical weather over here. You could explore these fields over here, climb the mountain, watch the waterfalls. You could play in the water, although it would be quite a struggle to get back up. And you could bounce on the egg, boing, boing, boing. Okay, yeah, not an awful lot to say there. I think I'd put it there, to be honest. Some of you may disagree with me on some of these picks, but I think that's a pretty good place to visit, even though there isn't anywhere to stay. And now, Snezgo's Valley 2. This is too ironic, because this is my third favorite track in the game, and a lot of you probably wondering, why is this your third favorite track? I just fell off. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I think it's just I like the pacing of it, and it's fun to time trial. And a few years ago I was making a script for a top 10 tracks video that got scrapped because I didn't like it. And this was the third track on that list, and I've just decided that, yeah, this is my third favorite track. I'm not going to try and rethink it. I just really like this track, I don't know why. To me, this is just an eerie arrangement of planks. Like, why are there a bunch of wood planks in the middle of nowhere? And surprisingly, unlike a lot of the other tracks, there is actually a place to stay. If you can see in the distance over here, there's like these silhouettes of castles, and maybe you can stay in them. The weather is always dark and mysterious. I don't even know what this weather would be called, just sky. You could watch the booze, balance on these blocks. You could explore all those buildings in the distance, I guess, and then you could jump off into the abyss. I want to say this is more deadly than Grumble Volcano because, first of all, how did you even get there? And second of all, you're probably going to die of fear. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Mario Raceway is basically just a raceway for Mario. I don't know what to say. It's just a racetrack designed for racing. There isn't actually too much going on here. I guess there's a cool sign that spins around, but that's about as interesting as it gets on this track. Oh, and how could I forget this giant pipe over here? You've got your typical weather here. I guess you could stay in this mushroom. I don't know, I'm just trying to stretch as much as I can here, guys. You could climb the hills, explore the fields, hop inside the piranha plant's mouth, explore this crazy tube, whoa. And you can watch the races too, as these guys are doing here. It's me. I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm not sure if this is controversial or not, but it's just really boring. I wouldn't even go here once. Like, there's nothing to do. I think that's a pretty good placement. It's too boring. Onto Sherbet Land now. This is a little bit boring, but not as boring as Mario Raceway because, I mean, there's ice. How cool is ice? Get it? Get it? It's a pun because ice is cool. But yeah, this is just a lake in the Arctic, you know? Nothing too insane. Once again, there's nowhere to stay, but maybe you could stay in this giant rock here. Maybe the Penguins built a hotel. It's probably really, really cold here, but it's pretty blue skies, and you've got the sun here. I guess you could make an igloo to stay in if you have the capabilities to do that. But you could just explore the lake and explore the cave, I guess. You could play with the little baby penguins over here. Oh, look at the little baby penguins. And then you could climb the ice on the rocks. And also visit the big penguin in the center on its own island. How cool is that? Imagine having your own island. But yep, that's about all I have to say. And I'm going to put this at the bottom of one visit is enough. You would think Shy Guy Beach is a pretty good place to spend your holiday, but yeah, that's not very safe. I mean, it's literally in the name, isn't it? Shy Guy Beach. Of course, there's going to be shy guys. In terms of places to stay, I guess you could stay with the pirates if you're nice to them. You've got the bright sun with, I presume these are clouds? It just looks like a mountain of marshmallows or something. I guess you could try to relax on the beach, but just try not to get blown up by these guys over here. You could just explore the island and eat some coconuts too. I'm just going to say one visit is enough and leave it at that. Another sensational track, we have Delfino Square next. So this is quite literally just a town on Delfino Island. Anything on Delfino Island is just pretty awesome. I just want to go to Delfino Island. It's up there with Woohoo Island on top video game places I want to visit. Watch me do the double, guys.
Many months later.
Watch me do the double, guys. Let's go, I'm the best at this game.
Watch me do the double, guys.
I'm sure one of the Piantas or something have Airbnb'd their home for you to stay in. And the weather here once again is just sun and some clouds. Nothing much there. As for activities, you could explore the town and hidden roads. Like, why is it so dark here? Just admire these surroundings. Visit the town hall over here. Hang out by the fountain. Meet the residents. Go to any local shops. Spend some time on the lake here. Say hi to this guy. Just chill out on the grass. You could watch the weird bridges that does weird stuff. Why is the bridge doing that? I don't know. There just seems like a whole bunch of things to do here. And something that many people might not notice is there is like a giant foresty bit over here which would be quite cool to explore, I guess. This is just another go-to location, to be honest. Definitely better than Maple Tree Way, but not as good as the tracks that you would actually go on vacation to. Now here we have Waluigi Stadium, which is basically just a dirt track arena for bikes to do their stuff. This track is another controversial one because, as you can see, this track is literally just a stadium. Like, we have no idea what's going on outside of the stadium. So, like I said, we're just going to take it for what it is and then judge it off of that. So there's nowhere to stay, really. There's a clear sunset with these black clouds, like Wario's Gold Mine, and the sun has eyes for some reason. Once again, like the other racetracks, you could either watch the racing from the side or even take part in the racing yourself. And I guess the only thing left to do is explore the stadium. Not gonna lie, I might actually rather go to Mushroom Gorge than Waluigi Stadium, so I'm going to put it just below Mushroom Gorge in slightly overhyped. Desert Hills is a somewhat interesting one. It's basically just a desert with some ruins of castles and various blocks everywhere. It reminds me slightly of tanks from Wii Play. This one's just really weird. It looks like there's like a war or something with the way everything's placed. I guess you could stay in one of these things, like one of these random buildings. I can't stress enough how much it looks like a war's happening here. It's extremely hot, especially with this angry guy. Got typical clouds. We got the crazy pokies. Whoa. Swim in the oasis here. You could climb these hills and the blocks. And you could also check out this volcano type thing. Like, what is this? I don't really know. It's something cool you could check out. It does look a little bit dangerous, but I think just one visit is enough for this. Just above Sherbet Land, because there is a little bit going on there, some interesting things to look at. So Bowser's Castle 3 from the GBA is once again just kind of there for its only purpose, which is to threaten people who come by. And the way these platforms are arranged, like you can see the castle over there. I don't know why these platforms even exist, but we're gonna go for this cut. Just ignore that. I guess you could stay in one of these turrets over here. Maybe the other Bowser Castle had it, but this is like the only track so far where the skybox is like all the same kind of sky. But with that being said, this is the first one to be very dark and cloudy with thunderstorms even. You could explore the castle and the track. Try not to die from all the obstacles. You could eat some baked beans. That's about all I have to say really. It's pretty boring. I'm gonna put this above Ghost Valley in too boring / too deadly because it is very boring and very deadly. Once you're on this track, I don't know how you're going to get back to the castle. How does this track even exist? I have no idea. Also, while you're here, make sure to check out the Twitch after the video. Who knows, I could be live right now. But now we're on to DK Jungle Parkway. Again, supports my statement of not a very good track in the original game, but for this video, it's a pretty cool track, you know? I mean, it's got a boat, it's got trees, it's got cool stuff. But if we really think about this is literally just a tropical island, which is really cool. You could stay on the boat over here. It's basically an almost clear sunset, which is really nice to see. A bit of a change in weather. You could just explore the island in general. You could have some coconuts from these trees. You could ride in the boat around the lake. There's an entire other part to this track that nobody ever sees. You could explore the cave in here. You could also watch the waterfall from this bridge. It's got a very nice view of the river. And then you could also play in the pea. I mean apple juice. I mean water. I mean, what is this? Why is it yellow? I'm gonna be totally honest, when is the next flight? Because I kind of want to go here. Although it might not have too much, it's still a pretty cool place to be, am I right? Maybe a little bit better than Moo Meadows. I know I'm repeating this a lot, but it still supports my statement of all the old boring tracks are actually pretty good vacation spots, because, don't know about you, but this looks like a pretty fun place to be. It's just a Mario themed racetrack around Peach's castle, isn't it? Quite obviously you could stay in the castle. All the clouds are very happy to be here, because it's a nice and sunny day. You could explore all these gardens over here, climb the hills in the distance, explore the castle itself, race around the track even, because that's what it's for. Help the chain chomp get out of the ground again. Please get out of there. Why are you in there? Admire the surroundings, pick some flowers, chill in the water. There's so much you can do here. Even take a hot air balloon ride like most of the circuit tracks. And explore these pipes in the distance, and these mushrooms too. However, with all that being said, I don't think this is too interesting. Apart from the castle and the gardens, there's nothing too crazy here, you know? That's why I'm putting it in slightly overhyped, but I'm gonna say more than Waluigi Stadium. Now onto the most boring thing in the entire game, even more boring than Ghost Valley 2 in my opinion. We have SNES Mario Circuit 3. Literally, and I say literally nothing here. It is simply just a racetrack in the middle of nowhere. Nowhere to stay at all, barely any clouds in the sky, no sun. All you can do is race on the track, explore the area, and I guess climb the mountains. There is nothing at all to do here. No need to explain myself here, but it's going below Rainbow Road. Rainbow Road is probably the most deadly at the moment, but Mario Circuit 3 is probably the most boring at the moment. Phew, we're back onto good tracks. Anyway, Peach Gardens is basically just gardens surrounding Peach's home. I mean, it doesn't look like a castle, so I presume that's her house, I don't know. But these gardens are just very beautiful. Obviously you can stay in Peach's home, the weather is very generic, and of course you can admire all these gardens. For some reason the chain jumps are gigantic in this, I don't know why. You can play games outside, have a picnic on the grass somewhere, explore the house, and explore the forest in the distance. I'm not gonna lie, this might be really controversial, but when is the next flight? I mean, this is just kind of like relaxing and just what I'd want to see. It's just more my vibe. Just kind of chill, you know. Onto the penultimate track in this game, DK Mountain. Initially I thought this one might be really high up the list, but then I thought about it more and I'm like, I'm gonna need to look at this track a bit more. So quite clearly this is an active volcano. You know what I'm saying? I'm stretching, guys. Like, maybe you could stay in this mountain here. I have no idea. I'm just making up things. Maybe this mountain has a hotel in it. I don't know. So all the clouds are very, very happy again. Once again, very happy clouds. You can launch through the cannon here, explore the jungle down here, explore the distant mountains as we kind of already said. You could sail down this river, but it seems to be going extremely fast. Oh my goodness, that is a really fast river. I guess you could explore the volcano a little bit, but it is quite dangerous here. I mean, look out for boulders, I guess, especially when they're just hovering in the sky. I think I'm going to put this above Yoshi Falls. I think the slightly overhyped tier is a bit messed up, but I like how it looks at the moment. At last, we have reached the final track in this game, Bowser Castle from N64. And now, unlike the other Bowser Castles, to me, this one actually seems like one I'd go to. Although the vibe is very eerie and disturbing, as long as you avoid certain dangers, it could be a pretty nice place to go. I'm not saying it's the best one, but definitely decent. Besides its imitating creepy vibes, I think this castle looks pretty decent for a place to go. Obviously, you could stay in one of the rooms in the castle, if it even has rooms, because we don't know if it has rooms or not. The skies are clear, but yet dark and ominous. I don't know if I like that. You can admire the Bowser paintings, the Bowser statues. He's really self-glazing himself a lot. And also admire the gardens. He seemed to have put a fair amount of work into these gardens, keeping the bushes nicely trimmed. Obviously walk around the grounds, explore the castle. You could even make friends with Marty the Thwomp over here. Hi Marty. Just try not to die to all the Thwomps, and that is the main danger of this track. You could also enjoy some baked beans, and I guess if you're up here, you could admire the views of the castle and the surroundings. It's definitely one of the safest Bowser's castles. But yeah, with all that being said, I think one visit is enough. Maybe just above Shy Guy Beach, because Shy Guy Beach is a little bit dangerous, but I think one visit is enough. Now hold on just a second. You thought we were only going to do the tracks? Well, you're wrong. There are also 10 battle tracks in this game, and some of these get pretty interesting, although some of them are pretty boring, but we're going to rank all them right now. Okay, so a little bit of a bonus here. We are going to go through all the battle tracks. Just ignore how multi-mall looks and ignore that the mock bike is outside drift. It was really difficult to even find tracks of these that I could actually race on normally, so we're just going to do this on battle mode with all the CPUs. But yeah, this one is not a place I'd want to go on vacation. Okay, so because this is a battle track, it looks pretty weird on the website, but just go with it. The best way to describe this would just be a random assortment of blocks, like how does this exist? Why does it exist? I don't know where you'd stay here, like maybe in this dark void. The sky is fake and made of pixels. It's like the only fake weather we've had so far. I guess you could play games around the blocks in terms of activities, explore the plaza even though there isn't that much to explore, and just admire the statues. Wait, Mario, what have they done to you? No. But not a very good start for the battle tracks because I consider this one to be pretty boring. Probably not as boring as Mario Circuit though, I'm going to put it just above it. Now we're going from an extremely boring one to another goated tier. Once again, it's on Isle Delfino, so you know it's going to be really good. Obviously we don't get a very good view of it here, so I'm just going to switch to the website now. But I mean, would you just look at this? Like, this is so awesome and beautiful. Like, it just goes on so much as well. Like, just anything on Isle Delfino is just amazing. You could stay in one of these buildings, of course. The weather's very tropical skies, tropical water. You can explore the area, of course. Take a boat trip in the water. You could come over here, see what's going on here, what all this is about. You could meet the residents. Hey guys, let's go. You could low-key just chill out on the balconies and the roofs up here. Like, just a bunch of people on a balcony is just so awesome. You could even go swimming in the water. There's so many places here just to chill. You can explore down here. There's so much to say about this track. I could just go on and on about it. Even eat some tropical fruits, look at that. Once again, goes without saying, this is just a goated location. Ooh, where to put it though, that's a tricky one. I'm gonna put it just above Delfino Square. There's no B in these two tracks here. These two tracks are like as good as a vacation would get. Onto Funky Stadium, and this is a very funky stadium. It's essentially just a stadium for people to do tricks on their bikes and their karts, I guess. Also, I know this is a strange side note, but did you know that up here, these are mushroom panels? Did you see that? I bounced off it, like I did not know they were mushroom pads, because they're only used in Mushroom Gorge, and I guess they're also used on this track too. If you want to get notified about when I upload a YouTube video or go live, there will be a link in the description for the Discord server, but there doesn't look like any place to stay in this room. There's not even any weather, it's just we're inside a funky stadium. But if you go outside the stadium, you can actually see the blue skies. I can't believe they've actually added that, that's a nice touch. You could just stay in the crowd, watch the vehicles do stunts, or you could do the stunts yourselves, and I guess meet new people in the crowd. Nothing really to say here, it's just a pretty interesting place. Similar to Waluigi Stadium, it's slightly overhyped, but I think this is a little bit cooler, so I'm going to put it just above it. Now this is very dangerous. This is a giant chain chomp roulette. Wait, that's literally the title of the course. Is it chain chomp wheel or chain chomp roulette? Is there regional differences? I don't know, never mind. But the point is, this is just very dangerous. Obviously, there's no dangers right now, but oh, okay, there is already. Yeah, that is a giant chainsaw, and you're basically just trapped in here with nothing to do, so...
It's very scary.
So as we can see, there's not really any places to stay, maybe stay in a pipe, I don't know, who am I kidding? There's nowhere to stay. I like how the website makes everything glitch. There's no weather, but it looks pretty warm, I guess. It's got a good vibe, but obviously because it's a roulette, it's not a real place, technically, it's just like a roulette. But the vibe is pretty cool, that's what I'm trying to say. If you go through here, you can see the aquarium. This is probably the coolest part, which the fish have glitched out of. Just make sure not to die to any chain jumps. I'm gonna say one visit is enough for this one as well, but maybe at the bottom, because it is just a roulette like I keep saying, and there isn't too much going on in there, but I'd like to visit it. It looks like a pretty cool time. So Thwomp Desert, I guess, is just a giant graveyard for thwomps, and then a giant daddy thwomp in the middle who likes to bounce everyone up and down. Did this used to scare anybody else as a kid? Because this is a side note, but as a kid I found battle mode really scary simply to the courses it had. Like this one, for example, like, does this not scare anybody else? Like giant thwomps smashing into the ground. Anyway, you can see all the thwomps in the distance, and I think this genuinely is just a thwomp graveyard. We're not seeing an awful lot more on the website than in the game, but I guess you could explore the desert, drink cactus water. There's nowhere to stay anyway, and the sky is pretty beautiful. It's got some nice colors and clouds, but there is literally nothing here. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'd say one visit is enough, but again, at the very bottom, some of these battle tracks just aren't it. Okay, so these next two tracks are basically the exact same as Mario Circuit. You could probably literally just put me saying what I said about Mario Circuit over this right now, and it would probably fit the exact design of the track. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to waste any time on this. I'm just going to play back what I said about Mario Circuit.
Now onto the most boring thing in the entire game. Even more boring than Ghost Valley 2 in my opinion. Literally, and I say literally nothing here. It is simply just a racetrack in the middle of nowhere. Nowhere to stay at all, barely any clouds in the sky, no sun. All you can do is race on the track, explore the area, and I guess climb the mountains. There is nothing at all to do here.
Yeah, this is going in too boring, but it's got more walls than Mario Circuit, so... that's cooler. Could basically do the same with this track, but because there's a few different things, I'm just going to say a bit more about it. As you can see, nothing too interesting going on here, but there is actually a place to stay, which is this giant castle, which is pretty interesting, to be honest. You could also explore these mounted things in the distance. But once again, just play what I said about the last track again, like, I feel like it would work here.
There is nothing at all to do here.
Okay, these battle tracks aren't doing too great, but I promise the last three are kind of interesting. Now we have the skyscraper from the N64. I think we're just going to go straight to the website here because you can't really see much from where we are now. So as you can see, this is basically, I think, a helipad. Like it's a helicopter pad on top of a skyscraper that's been turned into a battle track, I think. Obviously, you stay in one of the skyscrapers. It's a beautiful night with starry skies and a moon. You can explore the city, explore the buildings, admire the view, all that stuff again. This gives pretty similar vibes to Moonview Highway, although I am putting it in slightly overhyped because it's not as interesting from what we can see. I'm going to put it just above Funky Stadium though. Yeah, okay, GCN Cookie Land, pretty boring. I don't even really need to move to show you the whole thing. Look, wow, look, there it is. That is the entire track, guys. So this is just giant cookies floating in the air, I guess. I guess you could stay inside a cookie. I'm really stretching here. The sky is literally made of chocolate and sweets and bubblegum? I don't even know. I don't know what that is. Oh look, there's Yoshi. You could just play on the course, admire the course, eat the course, even. You might as well eat the course at this point. If somehow you've ended up here, then I don't know how you've got in here. You must have entered through the back rooms or something. I don't know. How are you here? How are you here? But yeah, too boring, too deadly. I guess it's better than the circuits. And now our final actual track in this game. We have Twilight House. Does this house and vibe remind anybody else of Kyrian Mansion from House of the Dead? It just gives me that vibe. This is just like a strange house in a creepy forest. Obviously, you stay in the house because that's the only thing here. These dark red skies look really evil. I don't know what to make of it. This is like the only track in this game with like no weather. Like, it's not even the sky, it's just like evilness. You could explore the house, explore the forest, admire the views from the house, admire the house itself, I guess. There's a lot of admiring going on in this video. And then see what there is to do in the house. Like, surely there's something going on inside here. No, it's just an empty room. A somewhat interesting place, but I'm going to put it slightly overhyped. I would say it's about here. I don't know. We're almost to the end of the video. I don't know. I'm just putting it wherever. But wait, for my hardcore Mario Kart Wii fans out there, you might remember a certain tournament track by the name Galaxy Coliseum from the old Nintendo Wi-Fi connection days.
Subscribe to EddieJoe for more awesome videos.